Here's a shocking theory for you. What if the crypto bull market never even really began? It's all just been a fugazi, an apparition, a mirage in a desert for thirsty crypto investors. Well, I've got some interesting points that could show that may indeed be the case. And I know we were all mega bullish when the Bitcoin ETFs came out and all that stuff, but can't argue with the downtrend in Bitcoin right now and the massacre in altcoins and the general bearish vibes in the market. But does that mean the best times could still be ahead of us? Well, let's dive into this topic. And the first point I want to talk about is really the Bitcoin all-time high in of itself. So we got to 74K back in, was it March, right? But here's something that'll blow your mind. Adjusted for inflation, we didn't actually get an all-time high. The $69,000 Bitcoin back in 2021 was worth more than a $74,000 Bitcoin in 2024 because of the massive debasement of fiat currency. So the thing that we value Bitcoin versus the US dollar has been inflated away and will continue to be inflated away into nothingness. Also, Bitcoin has not made a new all-time high versus gold. So it's interesting perspective, right? So that pump to 74K on the back of the Bitcoin ETF news, really just a false start in the market. Kind of like 14K back in 2019. And I know timings are different because now we have the Bitcoin halving and all that kind of stuff. Markets never repeat, but they do often have a lot of rhyming. And look, I refuse to accept that we have come this damn far to only see the price go 6% higher than the last cycle in dollar terms and not even hit a new high when adjusted for inflation. Come on, are you willing to accept that? No, it's bullshit. Gosh darn it, crypto, what's going on here? Okay, the second point, the Bitcoin halving was only 4 months ago. That's crazy, man. Now, historically, we only see new highs for Bitcoin 6 months or more post-halving, so watch out for October because that's the 6-month mark. Will history repeat or rhyme enough with an approximate post-Bitcoin halving 6-month market rally? We shall see. We shall see. But as has always been the case for Bitcoin cycles, the biggest moves in the market only start after the Bitcoin halving, which essentially marks a new major period for the market itself. Now, the third point here, and obviously, if you're an altcoin investor, pouring out for you, man, it's been rough. I got a big altcoin bag. They're savaged. Altcoin markets are still cooked. I know there's been a few exceptions, coins like maybe Injective, right, that actually went on to make new highs this cycle. But the vast majority of the top coins have not even come close to reaching their previous highs. Avalanche, way under its previous all-time high. Solana kind of came close-ish, but still didn't do it. Ethereum, oh man, we came within like $1,000, so we're only 20% under the all-time highs at the biggest price action of this cycle. But my goodness gracious, man, what a wild, wild ride has been. Really, except for Bitcoin and a couple of altcoins like Injective, and there's a few others, most altcoins have absolutely done very little this cycle. And I know there's been some memes, dog with hat, it went up and went crazy, went to be worth billions of dollars. And everybody's like, new paradigm of dog money, whatever. Okay. And I didn't hear people saying, hey, you know what? That was the top, man. Come on. We had a dog with hat picture and was worth $5 billion or whatever the top market cap was. That's insanity. That's so dumb. How is it not so obvious? In hindsight, it all makes sense. Like, no, man, there was no real mania period. There was a lot of player versus player action. And there was, meme coins pumped. And you could say, okay, dog with hat going to $5 billion is like, oh, that's so crazy, man. Dogecoin went to 90 billion last cycle. Shiba Inu went to tens of billions last cycle. Okay. This is chump money for crypto. That's not actually all that crazy. Now, before I dive into the fourth point real quick, if you're not signed up to the Wealth Master newsletter yet, you're missing out. You got to check it out. We have 140,000 plus weekly readers checking this thing out every single week. We're helping our readers stay ahead of the curve in these fast moving markets, latest on meme coins, altcoins, airdrops, and much, much more. So if you want to get that newsletter to your inbox, it's free, by the way. So check it out. Link in the description of the pinned comment over on X. Now, the fourth point here, the market top, as we would expect it, hasn't really come in. It's been a very non-toppy kind of market. Normally, you see all the coins go like, Burj Khalifa style, massively up, and then, of course, massive down after that. And we did have some nice pumps for some coins, but again, not the sort of charts you would generally associate with massive market peaks. Even Bitcoin, we got a nice run up, but then it just kind of ground sideways for months and months on end, still grinding sideways in spite of the recent pessimism and price action. Perspective-wise, hasn't really gone all that crazy. Generally, a top in the market looks more like this, not so much like this, right? When retail floods in, when the prices go higher, we get past 72K finally, really start breaking out to new all-time highs. That's when people will start getting excited. And we saw a very small glimmer of that earlier this year when the price of Bitcoin was rallying super hard. That brings media attention. That brings retail investors back in. More money floods into the market. FOMO starts happening in the market. Higher price result, bringing, of course, exit liquidity for all the early investors. And we got a very, very small taste of that, but nothing significant, nothing on par, even in a very similar way with previous cycles. It's a baby pump compared to what crypto can and often does do. The fifth point, bull market. What is a bull market anyway, man? Look, the fact is the market has been broadly bullish with some times of extreme pessimism, extreme fear, accumulation, sideways price action, et cetera, but broadly bullish since January 2023, 2 months after the FTX collapse. Loads of money has been made by the savvy investors chasing new meme coins and airdrops and all that kind of stuff. People have made generational wealth in that time. I mean, we did have a lot of great money-making opportunities, but most people only talk about the end of the bull market phase. And so where's the bull market? They only are thinking about the end, not the beginning, not the middle, okay? Only the end. And the end is that final blow-off phase. That is when massive euphoria hits the timeline and you can finally sell all these damn scam Ponzi coins and get the heck out and go retire somewhere, okay? That's the idea anyway, right? We've not really had a big blow-off phase for really anything in the crypto market so far. So have we really had a full bull market? We've had inklings of it. We had generally bullish price action for a significant amount of time, but we never really had a market cycle peak. Or if we did have a peak, it was very, very, very weak peak. And I refuse to accept that. Maybe I'll go down with the ship on that one. But if we have not yet had that mania phase, the final blow-off phase of the cryptocurrency markets, then when is it going to come? I know, the question of questions, right? Well, we have a lot of stuff lining up for us that could see a great rally coming, potentially the final leg in the market. We talked a lot of reasons about why we could see that final leg coming. You know, maybe it's the fifth wave on the Elliott waves or a whole bunch of other different reasons of US recession finally catching up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But Q4 or Q1, right, is when probably we're going to top. So probably then in that situation, you're going to see like October prices really starting to move. Q4 is going to be broadly bullish. Everyone's going to get really excited again. Into Q1, then it's like, oh my gosh, new paradigm money. Everyone's getting super rich. Rate cuts have come in. The S&P 500's pumping. Liquidity's rising. Oh, that FTX money came back in. ETH inflows. Wall Street finally starts buying Ethereum. The M2 money supply starts pumping. Trump wins, giving some kind of potential Goldilocks period until maybe March, when then shit really hits the fan. The recession stuff finally catches up. And it all goes downhill, okay? Maybe. That's a theory we're working on, right? But perhaps the final phase of the bull market does start Q4 this year, generally Q4 if we're talking about seasonality. And look, August and September have been very seasonality seasons so far. We've definitely seen markets getting hit hard in August and September, lining up with what we traditionally see happening in August and September. So seasonality is a real thing. Seasonality has been playing its effect. And perhaps Q4 then, based on bullish seasonality, actually ends up playing out in our favor too. Oh, look, of course, obviously, guys, massive risks remain in the market right now. Market's very fragile. Stocks pump, crypto dumps, stocks dump, crypto dump. It's been totally crazy. And risks, of course, remain primarily that US recession scare that's going on, because that's going to probably drag the entire global economy down with it when it happens. Massive global recession. But a lot of countries have already been in recessions for a while. A lot of economies already got, some of them even got out of recessions already. The US being a lagger here, with the US being the most important economy in the world right now. What happens there will have chilling effects around the world, would be my guess. Now, when that happens, anybody's guess. A lot of data saying it could happen very soon. A lot of data saying maybe not quite as soon as some people think. And hey, you never know. Maybe Jerome Powell pulls off the near impossible and really does land a soft landing and there's no recession at all. Now, final thoughts. When we get that final rally in the market, and I think it could be a final rally, we'll update our opinion later on. I don't want to get too bullish in euphoria, because I think we could be seeing some of these situations playing out. But get ready to sell. Remember, you have to sell if you want to make any money on all these damn altcoin things, because when the shit really hits the fan, and obviously we hope that that's not going to happen super soon, that we do have this final rally to come in for the market. But remember to sell when that happens. You got to get out. You got to run away, because when the bear market hits, and of course we're hoping that we get a final leg and not an immediate bear market, when the bear market hits, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad for altcoins. Altcoins have already been down massively. It's been rough. And you have to be ready to be wrong too. You have to be ready to look at the markets and say, you know what I wanted to happen is not happening. What I was expecting to happen, what my models and theses and ideas of what could happen are not happening. And you have to be ready to readjust in that situation. Manage risk, Make sure you have cash on hand. Survive, survive, survive. Don't get chopped up. Okay. Once Bitcoin breaks 72K, we're off to the races. Until then, just survive. That's the key thing right now in the market. More bullish periods will return in the market. They always do. The only question is when. Okay. And we have a lot lining up for Q4 as a time when that could start. Okay. So until then, be strong, survive. We will see better days in the markets ahead of us. Thanks for watching.